John's secret past, Sydney's death, and Deborah takes John back? The Dirty John After Show starts right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Crazy in Love. We chose the most fitting song because Deborah is absolutely crazy in love, and it's crazy to see.
It's insane.
Welcome, everyone, to the Dirty John After Show. We are so excited to be here and see you. Today, we have a lot to go over. We're going over episode 3 and 4 today. So much to discuss. But before we get into it, hello to my amazing host, Tyra. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome.
Happy to be back.
I know.
Dirty John After Show. Excited to talk.
Just the two of us. Okay, never mind. We do have a special segment that we are going to bring to our show, and it is the OMG Moment of the Week. And basically, out of the 2 episodes that we're going to go over, the one scene or quote or anything that shocked you the most. So we'll get into that in the end. But first, let's get right into episode 3. Thoughts? What did you think?
I thought this episode, I liked it because it really helped us understand John. It took us back to his past, and it kind of like drew us to why he is where he is right now, in a way.
Yes.
So it was really cool to get that background, and it was quite interesting, and then again, just creepy.
Yeah, like this person, I can't believe this person exists, and he might be online dating at this moment, you know?
Right.
Okay, so I do want to just jump into his past life right away because that was just a huge part of this episode. I thought it was kind of interesting when he talked to Tanya and said, my parents are monsters. I grew up really badly and I don't want you to contact them. So on one end, I felt like he was manipulating her and kind of singling her out so he doesn't contact his family, just to kind of keep them separated. But on the other end, I thought it was crazy because he was admitting that he was raised by monsters. It's almost like he knows that he was raised in a bad environment. So it's like, does he know right from wrong?
Right. I felt that too, but I also felt that in a way it should have been a warning sign for her. Like, okay, he doesn't want to talk about his past at all. Something's not right. Like, I don't know. In those beginning stages of dating, it's important to like learn about their family history. So if he's like, don't make contact with them, they're monsters. In my mind, I'm like, okay, what am I getting myself into? So, and for her to kind of just like brush it off to me was kind of strange. Like, it just instantly would have been a red flag for me.
But then do you see how he's like, they are terrible people and I just don't want to associate with them anymore. Like, I'm better than that. Like, do you see that side of it? Or is it just still like red flag central?
No, it's just red flag central for me with John right now. It could be that, but I don't know. He didn't really give her any proof that he was better. I mean, when he met her, like she was helping him get into medical school or something that I saw in the beginning. So it's not like he just had it all together on a silver platter. Right. So I don't know. I can see it either way, maybe.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting the way that their relationship played out, kind of similar to him and Deborah's. Everything kind of seems perfect in the beginning, or, normal, and then all of a sudden they have 2 kids, they're married, and then she meets his girlfriend.
It's crazy.
That was a crazy point in the story, and I think that she comes home and she, like, has this realization that her husband is not who she thinks he is.
What was insane about it, it was like 10 months, she said. Like, and then, see, okay, it actually kind of, it flipped me for a loop, is that the phrase? Sure. Because the way the mistress like confronted her about it, I thought it was going to be like, you need to run, you need to get away from him, he's crazy, I've previously dated him in the past. Like, that's how she kind of approached her when Tanya told her, like, this is my husband. So for her to come back home and say, oh, this is your mistress, it was kind of weird. Like, I guess in a way maybe the mistress just felt guilty because maybe she possibly knew that he was married. But I just thought that reaction was kind of weird.
Well, I didn't feel like the mistress had anything wrong with him. Like, they were still fine. There was, I don't think that the mistress was scared of John yet. I think that they were just currently dating.
Okay.
And it just threw her for a loop.
Maybe. Okay.
That's kind of what I didn't get it, that they had like broken up and she was like, oh my God, you need to watch out for this guy. He's crazy.
She just seemed kind of like flustered to me, but I guess it could have just been that shock of just like,
oh, hey, we're dating the same person.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that would suck. But jumping to the podcast, because I did listen to it, Tanya was interviewed, and she said that this was after 10 years of being in a relationship with him.
Okay, so it wasn't 10 months, it was 10 years.
Yeah, I can't remember what exactly it was in the show, but I thought that was crazy. Like, can you imagine being married to someone or being in a relationship for 10 years, having 2 kids, and then all of a sudden seeing these little red flags of not knowing who this person is?
Yeah. That
it's just...
It sucks because in a way it's just like, how did I not see this? And then it's just like, well, how can I get out of this? I have 2 kids by like him now. I'm trapped in a way.
I know. And I think that we saw that a lot with the banging down of the door when he's trying to get in, when he moves out of the house and everything. But before we get to that, I do want to touch on podcasts. And there's a bunch of great podcasts out there. And Tyra, you're going to tell us what is available.
Of course. So, of course, we love that you guys tune in and watch us every week, but we also want to just thank you for making us the ESPN TV Talk, and for us to continue to grow, we could use your help. If you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. Being a part of AfterBuzz has truly meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate your support and helping us do what we love. Don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our shows.
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, so I want to jump back into the relationship with John and the girlfriend.
Okay.
When Tanya confronts him, he's kind of reacts really oddly. Like, he doesn't get, well, he does get mad, but he just has a strange reaction, and he makes a weird note. He says she even looks expensive. So basically claiming that he's only with her for her money. Do you think that that's why he's dating all these women? Or
I mean, at this point, it just seems like he's an opportunist, so I wouldn't be surprised. But then in a way, he kind of said it like, you know, she looks expensive, like this could be help for us. Like, I don't know. He kind of got like twisty with it, or that's what I kind of got out of that conversation.
Okay, do you think that John actually loves Tanya? This is what I get confused about. Like, does he actually love these women? Let's go with Tanya first, because she is the wife.
Yeah.
The first wife.
John has me so messed up. Personally, I don't know if he sincerely does love these women. I think it's just any opportunity. Like, maybe, like he said, he comes from a crazy background, or, you know, crazy home or whatever. So maybe these women that he's finding, like, I don't know, like I said it before, like Tanya kind of helped him get into the medical field. And then like now with Deborah, like she got a house and all things of those things. So maybe it's just like him just being an opportunist and just finding somewhere where he can be stable, no matter if he loves the woman or not.
Yeah. And I mean, back to the podcast, like 10 years, that's a long time to be with someone, have 2 kids. Like, I would think that there is some part of you that is real and genuine and loves the person that you're with.
And it could be, but it's just like, he's just nuts inside.
Well, I think like apart from that, like there is that side, but then also he has the crazy side, right? In the podcast also, a bunch of his ex-girlfriends were interviewed, and they said, a lot of them were like naive at the time, and like in a position where they really needed someone to take care of them, and not naive, what's the word? Vulnerable. And a lot of them were kind of in the same position. And that's when John swooped in and took advantage of them. So that just seems to be the type of women that he goes for, is just, you know, women that are single with kids, or they just need somebody.
Right.
And they're very receptive to any sort of love that they get.
Yeah. And I guess now looking back on it, I do kind of see that with Tanya, because we know that's clear for Deborah. But with Tanya, she did kind of seem like maybe she was just very vulnerable. And it was just like this man that she randomly met at a bar just swept her off her feet. And isn't that interesting? Like, he met her at a bar, and then he meets, well, I guess he showed up to Deborah's house, but still they go and like have dinner and stuff. I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's just like a cycle in a way.
I think the whole episode was totally showing back and forth, Tanya's relationship with him, and then also Deborah's relationship,
It was
and
like
how they're
confirmation.
similar.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think Tanya starts to see all these red flags, right? We have the girlfriend, huge red flag. We have the nurse that sees John stealing drugs. That's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
I think that's when she starts to realize, like, okay, whoa, my husband really isn't who he says he is.
And she like went insane, like, okay, this can affect my future, my career, my kids. Like, she went in the house, like, destroying everything, trying to find it. And then just for her to find it in the kids' toys, like, that would have just been like, okay, this is like, what if the kids could have gotten a hold of it? Or it's just insane.
Yeah. And then she kind of gets confirmation with the friend, right? She sits down with the old college friend, and he tells her all of, like, the old little scams that John used to run in college. And she's like, wow, I guess I really kind of don't know who I'm marrying. Like, this person just isn't suddenly becoming this way. He's been like this his entire life.
Yeah.
So
I actually want to, like, see, I wish they could have, like, tapped more into the friends, because, like, you saw in the videos, they were like, run while you can or get out. But of course it was like,
yes,
you would think it's like just wedding day humor, like recording for memories, but
frat guys,
right? But it would have been cool if we would have gotten a little more, or maybe we will deeper, like in next episodes to come, get a little more insight of his background, so we can kind of, I don't know, get an understanding and puzzle and place together why he is the way he is.
Tidbit: Oxygen also has a Dirty John.
Like a documentary?
Show. Yeah, but it's an hour and a half, so you can literally binge the whole story in an hour and a half, and it's really interesting. Again, like it interviews Tanya, his ex-girlfriends, obviously Deborah and Terra, and they do go into the wedding a little bit, and they say that he didn't have any family there at all. He had like a couple friends, and even the friends that were there just like weren't that close to him. And so it was just kind of like this weird like
oh, guys,
energy.
just come. Yeah.
Yeah, like, hey, you want to be my best man? Like, I don't really talk to you. So I thought that was interesting. Like, he just really doesn't have anybody close around him.
Yeah.
That's kind of how they made it sound.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
Red flag again. Okay, so Deborah basically, let's transfer back to, present day episode. Deborah kind of increasingly starts to pay attention to the red flags that are happening. Now, I just have a note that doesn't have anything to do with this. I think Connie Britton is a really good actress.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah, she's like playing it well.
Like, even her little mannerisms and expressions, I think she's so good. I was reading, I was in this like random Facebook group, and someone was saying how they're like, she is such a bad actress in that Dirty John show. Like, she's not doing a good job, and I couldn't disagree more. I think she's so believable, and she's so genuine and kind, and she's just a good actress. I just had to throw that in there.
Really understand and believe that this girl was just literally I don't know, just clueless.
Crazy. Okay, so Deb meets with the lawyer, and I thought it was crazy because the lawyer's telling her all of these things about John. And even then, she's still not entirely sure that it's true.
I think I wrote it down somewhere. I can't even find it, but I literally like marked how people are telling her, and she still thinks that, oh yeah, she says like, is it possible that it's not him? Like, questions that all of the documents or whatever that she found, like maybe it could be someone who stole his identity or something. I'm just like, is she insane? Like, it's in her face.
She literally does not want to believe it. And I thought it was a weird moment when the lawyer asked, she's like, okay, are you going to want to get an annulment? And kind of the face that Deborah gives is just like, whoa, like, am I actually going to have to get divorced from this person? I think that she's in so much denial that even going to that next step of getting an annulment or splitting up from this person is just out of this world, and she can't believe it.
Or maybe it could have just been like, I really screwed up, like a divorce. Like, we just got married. I don't know.
Totally. And Ronnie confronts Deborah about the confrontation between...
Okay, between
Toby and John. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Finding out that they were married. I loved Ronnie in this episode. She was just like, Mom, get your stuff together. You need to get out of there. I heard about the wedding. Like, are you insane? Like, she had this fierceness about her the whole episode where she, like, packed her mom up, got her out. Like, I really enjoyed her character. I just had to throw that in there. I didn't know if we were going to talk about it. I was like, I have to.
Absolutely. I kind of liked their whole relationship the whole episode because they were kind of butting heads the past couple episodes, and they were going to therapy and trying to work it out and not getting along. And then you kind of see them, you know, join together and get the hotel room and do the wigs and I don't know. It was like a good mother-daughter moment.
It was. And it was just like she finally got that, oh, my God, my mom is on the right track. Like, we finally got her out of the house. But even going back to what you were saying, when she did confront her, Deb was still kind of just like, oh, yeah, it happened. Like, it wasn't like, I'm so sorry. It was just like, well, yeah, I was going to tell you we planned. It was just like, what? Like, how do you just act calmly about it when your daughter is clearly upset and walking in to confront you? Like, why would you do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the craziest story that I don't think that they touch on in the actual episode, but they touch on in the podcast is that he had a bunch of restraining orders taken out against him from female cops that were worried about their own safety against him. So you know how
listen to this podcast.
I know. But in the show, you know how the lawyer says, I can't represent you because you have too many. He goes after all the other lawyers. Any lawyer that comes after him, he goes after them. And it's just like too much of a F story. So relating to that, I think that there was lots of like female detectives or policemen in real life that actually put restraining orders against him because they were scared of him and they feared for his life.
How can
their life, excuse
literally
me.
That I don't know. John just throws me for a loop every episode. How do you have all of these people in fear of you also? Like, how does that happen? I don't know. Is it because, like, I guess with lawyers, maybe he lost his cases or so he threatened them, or
how does it happen and you're not in jail?
Right.
Like, so many things.
The number one question.
Right. And so he did, from the show, he did serve 6 months congruent sentences and then got out. But it just shows that our justice system is so beyond effed up. One thing about the justice system that they do talk about in the Oxygen show was that John would be threatening Deb over the phone and saying all these crazy things. Or was it Deb or Tanya? I'm sorry. It was Tanya, the first wife. And she had to hand over her kids to them at the end of the day and pass on, you know, his turn for childcare. And, you know, if she doesn't do that, then she gets arrested. Yet she's having to pass on her kids to a potentially dangerous person. Yeah, he's their father, but that's just crazy to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
how does that make sense in this world?
How does it make it? It just doesn't. Like,
it does not.
Because at this point, I don't even feel confident in like confiding in these people because he's just turning around and just like flipping the script, and now they're scared of him, and it's just like, how does one man put this much fear in people? I don't know. It's weird.
I guess how he was raised.
I need to know this background.
By monsters. Well, good to know. They do show some stuff, so that's good to know.
Cool.
So I think the main point of this episode is that the big thing is showing that Deb is not alone. She's not the only victim, and the way they do that is showing how Tanya fell in love with John and through her eyes, because I think for the audience, it's really hard to understand, you know, oh, wow, you know, he's a bad guy. How does one fall in love with him? But then seeing through Tanya, it's understandable. They were together for a long time. He seemed like a really good guy.
Yeah.
Until a long time later. So
maybe he did genuinely love her, or maybe it was a thing, or he was just waiting for that perfect time to, I don't know, just flip.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, but he must be really good in bed or something. I'm not sure.
At this point, that's the only reason why.
Like, why else? I'm not sure. All right. We are going to move on to the next episode.
Perfect.
So, another flashback. We get to see this relationship between Deborah's mom, Arlaine, and Sydney, the daughter, and Bobby. So, what do you think?
This episode, it was crazy, and it just kind of, I don't want to say it kind of confirmed, but it kind of made me look at their mom in a different light. I definitely felt like this is where Deborah gets it from. Like, her mom is naive, clearly, and she takes the sides of all of her daughter's spouses or whoever. And
Totally.
I don't know. It was just like, this episode was just kind of crazy for me.
I know. And it was confusing because obviously it's an episode, so there's only so much that you can get into, but it's like these two people are fighting, they're not getting along, Sydney's over it, she wants a divorce, and then her husband kills her. Like, it's like, what led up to it? I'd love to know more background of Bobby, which obviously they can't get into in this short amount of time, but I mean, is there mental issues there? Like, what else happened besides some fighting?
Right. Or maybe he was just like, I don't know. I think he was just probably insecure, maybe. That's my assumption. Like, I mean, like, as you kind of saw, like, her character, she was really pretty, you know, she had a lot going for herself, she was determined, like, you can tell she was an independent woman, like, she was like, I can leave, like, I don't need him.
Right.
And he seemed like this is my treasure, like, I'm nothing without her. So maybe it could have just been one of those things, like, I mean, I know they said they grew up together or whatever, but maybe he just felt like he was nothing without her, and it was just like, well, if I can't have you, nobody can. And then
yeah, I feel like that's actually a really, really good point. And he seemed super controlling, and insecurity combined with controlling. She said she wasn't allowed to wear bikinis, go grocery shopping alone.
Yeah.
Like, what if I need some milk? I don't know. I can't go to the store without my husband.
But even when she said that, she was just really kind of calm about it. Like, she was like, Mom, I'm leaving. He's crazy. I would have been like, Mom, he has a problem. I can't even go to the store. Like, it was kind of just like a brush off, whatever, I'm over him. And then, boom, he's dead. I mean, well, she's dead.
And it's just weird. It's like these women in this family seem to get manipulated and taken advantage of, like, all of them.
See, I got a different vibe from Sydney. I got a different vibe from her. I think she was more of the firm one that kind of like knew her worth and just knew, like, I'm sick of this, I deserve more. Whereas, as you saw, the mom was just like, well, I think you should give him a chance. And, you know, having talks with both of them. Like, I think she was the strong sister or just the strong family member, and everyone else were just kind of like in the clouds about everything.
Totally.
But then that makes me also think, well, what happened with their mom? Like, we haven't seen her with like her
what
husband.
happened to her childhood?
So maybe, I don't know, maybe it could be one of those things where it's like how kind of like how Ronnie is, like, they both grew up seeing how their mom dealt with these are just my random assumptions,
random
but
thoughts.
like they saw how their mom like dealt with men, and like Sydney, she was more of a I'm not going through this like Ronnie, and then Deb kind of just fell through that naive trap just like her mom. I don't know.
Absolutely. I think they are totally all doing the same stuff, and it's because of how they were raised. But I have a question. So the whole episode kind of revolves around forgiveness, and the mom seems to easily forgive Bobby for killing her daughter. When is it okay to forgive, and when is it not?
I just think there is a
When is the line? Where's the line?
There is a fine line when it comes to forgiveness. Like, for God's sake, he killed your daughter. Like, I get it, you genuinely loved him, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And I don't know, it just kind of, I don't know if it was to the point where Bobby manipulated her to the points for her to go on the stand and say that she forgave him. Maybe it was to help her his sentencing, or
that was so bizarre.
Maybe it was like because she still had that compassionate thought about her grandson or something like that. But I just didn't, I don't know, that kind of confused me too. Like, are you really just like super calm about this? Like, he killed your daughter.
Yeah, even her reaction, like after it happened, she just immediately started praying and saying that she was going to get through this. And I think they have this, like, she's this really strong mentality, like, I can get through it. But, you know, sometimes you can't always get, like, you have to cry.
You have to. And I thought it was weird also when, like, the police came in, they broke the news, like, she kind of broke down. Then she goes in the room and just, like, tells poor Toby, and then just goes, okay, so stay in here and watch some TV. I'm gonna go out. I'm like, what? Like, you just told this kid his mom is dead, and you, I mean, I guess maybe that was her way of dealing with it and coping, because she did break out and she probably didn't want to, like, want him to see her break down. But it was just weird for me to just leave him alone in that space, young, not understanding, and it's just like, my dad of all people. It wasn't like a random senseless murder. Like, my dad did it, and you just left me in there stranded to think about what just happened.
Yeah, she just totally had that composure, and it was bizarre to see, because I think normal people would just break down, start crying, freak out.
I would be like running to find him.
Watch out, Tyra's coming. Okay, so I want to jump back into how John is stuck in the hospital and Deborah goes and essentially confronts him. And first of all, she's like ignoring him while she's in hiding, right? And she's not answering his phone call. She's ignoring his texts. She's in a hotel. But then she shows up at the hospital. Did you expect her to show up at the hospital? Or are you just not surprised anymore by her actions?
No, after the episode before this and just like her, like after she went down and they broke down to her what he's done in the past, and like I really thought her mind was made up. I mean, she packed up the house, she moved, like she was working on her will and getting a restraining order. I didn't expect that. I thought it was just like, I thought she was on the right path, and I was like, okay, maybe Deborah is not as, I don't know, vulnerable as I thought she was. And then she pops at the hospital, and I'm like, okay, well, that's that.
Right. And I think this is a huge scene in the show because she's finally confronting him for everything that she's heard, right? And she kind of like goes through a list of everything, like you've done this, the restraining orders. And he just basically has an excuse for every single thing. I was watching the after show on Bravo, and the actor who plays John, Eric Bana, I don't know how to say his last name. He's Australian, by the way, fun fact. He was saying like this was the most important scene of the whole series because he really had to convince her that he wasn't this terrible person. And it's like kind of all or nothing, fight or flight, right? Like,
yeah.
Without this like if you don't do this conversation well, like she's gonna leave you.
Right.
So somehow, I don't know how, he makes an excuse for everything, and I can't believe that she's believing him because he's like, that's not me. Like every excuse in the book, and then finally he just blames it on drugs. And I mean, I guess that's a better out, right? Because you can say the drugs make me crazy, and I think that kind of gives her a little bit of sympathy.
I guess, but it's just still, for me, I just still didn't believe it. It's still not believable. I mean, yeah, it may be like maybe drugs, but it takes deep thought to go to do the things that he's done. Like, I don't know. I just think like when you think of people who are on drugs, they're not really in their right mind. They're kind of crazy. Like, I mean, like it's different than being smart and manipulative. I mean, I wouldn't know, but I'm just saying what you see.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I don't know. It was a weird out. He could have come out with something better.
Well, apparently it worked, but
well, clearly.
I mean, I think that women are his projects, right? Like he meets these women, he manipulates them, and he totally, I don't know. What is his purpose in it? Like, what is in it for John? Is it money, sex, power?
I think it's power and money, but I feel like we won't know until we understand his background. Like, I think it all just goes back to what made him become this monster. That's what I'm just trying to figure out, because I would hope men just don't like purposely want to just ruin lives and just take over, powerful women. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out, get to the core of why he's the way he is.
And then I'm like, does he love Deb at all? Like, there is this little part of me that wants to believe that even though he's, like, crazy and does all this stuff and takes control of the situation, like, does he like Deb? Like, does he like these women at all?
Yeah.
Or is it all just a game?
I don't know.
I mean, the marriage thing, like, fine, I get that. But I wonder if when he was dating these women, I mean, he had to like them a little bit, right?
I mean, yeah.
He has to be attracted to them.
Yeah. I would hope so. But, I mean, I don't know. People who just want money and just, they may just brush over the fact that if someone is not, cute or beautiful or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. So crazy. But I think the overview of this episode is Deborah did not listen to her intuition. I think deep down inside, she kind of thinks that there's something wrong. But the reason why she keeps taking him back is because of the way that she was raised and because of her family. And she saw her mom easily forgive Bobby.
Wow.
Right?
You're right.
And
he did something crazy.
Way worse.
Insane.
So she's like, okay, well, if my mom can forgive Bobby for killing my sister, my family can take John back for his,
In which I'm sure the mom will.
Yeah. And then there is that moment where Deb is having the conversation with her mom, and she goes, well, John didn't actually do anything to me. He just lied to me. Do you remember that?
Oh my God, I don't remember that.
It was such a pivotal scene because she was like still in denial, thinking that he hadn't done anything to her. Like, yes, he had lied and that is bad, but he hadn't like physically done anything or harmed her or anything or stolen from her.
And that's where I just question Deb's mom. Like, what kind of parent are you? Like, especially just knowing what happened to the oldest, well, I don't know if she was the oldest or youngest, but knowing what happened to her sister, like, how can you just easily put trust in just another man? Like, I don't know. That would just, like, haunt me. Like, I would be protecting the daughter that I have now with her, like, my life, just making sure she doesn't make the same mistakes, and I would be picking up on those crazy things. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It stresses me out.
You're like, it happens once. How could it possibly happen again?
Yeah.
And I think Deb is just so, like, seeing everything that happened. She's just so easy and willing to forget.
Exactly. And then it just doesn't help that her mom isn't that strong person to tell her yes or no. Because, like, I mean, her daughter can tell her, but at the end of the day, you're a mom listening to your daughter. You're still going to go, well, she doesn't know what's right. Like, I'm the adult or whatever. So to not even get that confirmation from your mom, it's just like, well, maybe I am doing this. Like, maybe I'm not wrong, or maybe, I don't know. It's just a really messed up situation.
It's such a messed up situation, but it clearly gives us such a, like, clear idea of why Deb is acting the way she's acting and taking him back and accepting him even after everything that she's heard about him.
Yeah, it just all goes back to that foundation of your upbringing, and I don't know. I just strongly believe that about everything.
I know. Hope, yeah, you better have good parents or a good, upbringing, or else
and that's why you should also learn about your spouse's background, but I mean, no one knows.
Are you online dating? Are you single or in a relationship?
I'm single. I'm not online dating. I have not gotten into the apps or anything. I don't know.
Do you want to now that you've watched the show?
But I've never just felt the need to do that. I'm such a, the love of my life will just like pop up, or I don't know, like a hopeless romantic. So I can't, no.
Okay.
No, but and definitely after this, clearly I'm not doing it. How about you?
I hate online dating so much. I hate it more than life itself.
Yeah.
I would rather like go to a bar by myself than online date. So
yeah.
I don't know, but the crazies are everywhere. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Final thoughts of this episode. Anything else to add?
No, it was just insane. It confirmed why Deb is the way she is. Yes. And it just threw me for a loop to know that she's back with him. And I'm just really curious to see what is going to be the explanation, where are they going to live? Like, what is next on this next episode? How is her daughter going to feel? Like,
so many questions.
It's just so many questions.
So many
just
questions.
Another built up. When we thought we were one step forward, we're just 20 steps back.
But you know what I like about this show is there's a lot jam-packed into each episode. Like, even after the first episode, they just get right into it.
Yeah.
And
because I'm not going to lie, the first two episodes were good, but I was kind of just like, okay. But these two were like, all right, Tyra, this is good. Like, let's get in.
Well, speaking of, God. Let's get into our oh my God moment of the week.
Oh my God.
You watch Friends, right?
I don't.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
My God.
Okay, it's on Netflix. I'm going to get caught up and then we can talk about it later.
Okay. Start from, no, whatever. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so what was your oh my God moment of the week for either episode 3 or 4?
Okay, oh my God moment was, I would have to say, Deb's mom took the cake.
Yeah.
Just with her forgiveness about, killing, Bobby killing her daughter, and just like, her just being so overly understanding about these men that are women that her daughters, are dating, or just in general. I just couldn't believe her as a mother, that she was, I don't know. I just feel like she's not, this is mean, but I don't think she's a strong woman. Like, how are you just as naive? That was my OMG. Like, everything else was crazy, but it was just the principle that she gives these men so many chances, and just the fact that even when, Sydney came to her about her issues with Bobby, she was still like, give him a chance, or blah, blah, blah. Like, it was, I don't know. she was my OMG.
Yeah, she was like, oh my God, what are you doing? Okay, so my OMG moment of the week is a quote from John, and he's talking to Tanya when he's like crazy, I don't know, driving, I don't know what he's doing, but they're on the phone. And he says, you should enjoy your time left on this earth. Promise you'll remember it was me. Basically insinuating that he's going to kill her.
Yeah.
And FYI, in the Oxygen special, you guys have a lot of homework to do. You have a lot of,
I have a lot of homework to
a
do.
lot of catching up, Dirty John. They actually have the tape of that. Like at that point, Tanya had been talking to the cops, and they wanted her to record conversations, and so she has that actual phone call recorded. And he says that, and it is creepy AF.
No, I literally just got like this like chills.
No,
With you saying that, like
Yeah.
I don't even know if I want to go back. I don't know. It just made it like confirm. Well, I know it's a real story, but that's scary.
I know. And also, they kept on showing a bunch of pictures of him with these women and throughout his life. And he was just so nice looking, like attractive, friendly.
That's how they get him.
I know, but even after hearing the whole story and hearing these crazy conversations, like still when they showed his picture, I was like, that guy? Like,
Yeah.
he looks so normal.
I have to go watch this. I have
You've
to.
got to. You've got to. It's good, and they add a lot of tidbits, but you have to wait until,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So I don't.
She doesn't spoil it. Okay, well, speaking of that, let's get into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I just had a good prediction. And I'm like trying to think about it.
Oh, did you lose it?
Yes, I'm so sad. So you go first.
Damn it. Well, I've seen the show,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I can't predict it, unfortunately.
Okay, predictions. I predict that I guess next episode it's just gonna be the end for Deborah's relationship with Veronica. I think she's just gonna find out that her mom is back with him, and it's just gonna be a huge blow up. I don't know.
Good. All right.
Maybe.
I can't wait to see it.
But okay, that's what I'm sorry, this is completely off, but remember the scene in the last episode where Deb was pulling up and older guy was getting in the car?
Yes.
Was that Bobby?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to know if I'm predicting maybe he's going to be in this next episode, and we can kind of get a better understanding of what was going on and how did he get out of prison? Was that him?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
And also, like, the way that, we didn't talk about this, but I thought it was weird how she seemed pretty against Bobby, but yet her mom has been totally, like, forgiven Bobby, so it was just like a weird dynamic, but then she's not forgiving, so it's confusing.
Yeah, so I think Bobby's going to come back. That's my prediction.
All right.
Veronica and Bobby.
It's all about them. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Such a great time. Where can everybody find you on social media?
Hey guys, you can find me on all social media platforms at _Tyra Prude.
You guys can find me on Instagram at Shanti_Christina or tweet me at Shanti Christina. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you next Tuesday for the next 2 episodes. Have a good night.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.